Okay, so for this section, we are picking up from where the video notes that you guys watched yesterday after the test, we're picking up where those left off, so the top of your notes should already be filled in. So now it says, write an inequality equivalent to the one that's given. Okay, so if you solve an equation, I'm just going to jot down over here to the right, if you solve an equation and you get the answer 3 equals x, a lot of times you're not going to leave it 3 equals x. How are you going to write that? Instead of 3 equals x, you write it as instead of 3 equals x? No, x equals 3, right? Instead of 3 equals x, x equals 3 is how you're going to see it in your textbook. Or anytime that I give you answers on an answer key or anything like that, typically it's going to be instead of 3 equals x, x equals 3. Your variable always comes first. So in this section, that's what we're going to do here for these 3 examples. So we are not changing the inequality. We are simply taking it and flipping it around so that the variable is on the left-hand side. Okay? So for this, it's going to be important to pay attention to whether the open part or the closed part of the symbol is pointing towards the variable. So in the first one, the open part is towards the x. That's the greater than. So when you flip the entire thing, you're going to have x is greater than 4. So the open part starts towards the x and it stays towards the x. We're not changing it, we're just flipping the entire thing. So for number 2, we have p. The point of the symbol is towards the p. So again, it's going to stay that way. And we just flipped the entire thing. And then finally, we have w greater than or equal to 5. And it stays that way as well. Questions on that? Okay, so for the second section now, we are going to solve these inequalities. And the nice part about this is that this is a review of Chapter 3, Solving Equations. These are all going to be one-step equations. We're going to solve them the exact same way. Instead of having an equal sign, however, we're going to have an inequality. So for number 1, if we wanted to get x by itself, what would we do? Yeah, we're going to subtract 8, right? So if you subtract 8 from both sides, you get x is less than 3. So instead of an equal sign, you have a less than side. Now if we want to graph it on the number line, let's put at least 2 numbers on the number line. I don't care about all the ticks in between. I don't care what numbers you pick. I just want at least 2 numbers so that you can show some direction on here. So I'm just going to put 0 and 3. Now if we graph this, we're going to have a dot on 3, but is that dot going to be open or closed? Open. Why is it going to be open? Because there's no equal sign on that less than. Okay, it's just less than, not less than or equal to. So it's everything up to 3 but not including 3. So we're going to have an open circle on 3. And where are the numbers less than or lower than? To the left? Questions on that? So for number 2, we add 4 to both sides. We get m is greater than or equal to 11. Again, I'm just going to put 2 numbers on there, 0 and 11. You could pick 5 and 11. You could pick 11 and 15. It does not matter. Again, just to show direction. For this one, open or closed circle? Closed because of the equal to, because it does include 11. And that says greater than. So where are the numbers greater or larger or bigger? To the right. So we should shade to the right because all of those numbers apply. Number 3. T is now on the left or on the right hand side. What do we need to get rid of in order to get t by itself? The fraction, the 1/3. So how do we do that? Add 1/3. Okay? And if we do that, we have t less than or equal to 1/3 plus 1/2, which means we have to get a common denominator. In this case, it's 6. 3 has to be multiplied by 2 to get 6, so does the top. 2 has to be multiplied by 3 to get 6, so does the top. Keep your denominator the same, and you do get 5/6 when you combine like terms on the top. Now, if you look at 1 and 2, the arrow in number 1 points to the left, and we shaded to the left. The arrow in number 2 points to the right, and we shaded to the right. However, in number 3, that doesn't work because the variable's not in the right spot. So in order for that to work, that pattern to work still, we have to flip it so that that t is on the left-hand side. So your answer's not wrong like this, but it's just a little bit better if you say t is less than or equal to 5/6 instead of the other way around. Again, the sign still points toward t. Now we're going to put 2 numbers on our number line. And because we're dealing with a fraction, this fraction is going to be between 2 numbers. What 2 numbers is this going to be between? 0 and 1, right? Not between 5 and 6, because this is just a fraction not equivalent to even 1. Okay, it's a little bit less than 1. So I'm going to put 0 and 1 on here. And which one is it going to be closer to? The 1, because it's just about 1. It's a little bit less. We're going to do a closed circle because of the equal to. And we want the numbers that are less than or smaller than. So we're going to go to the left. And so now, since your t is on the left-hand side where it's supposed to be, the arrow does point in the direction you shade. Try 4 and 5. Okay, so when you're finished, you can check yours with mine. On number 4, make sure that when you subtract 4 from both sides that you do get -7, because -3 plus a -4 is becoming more negative, so -7. When you put that on the number line, if you use 0, make sure that the -7 is to the left of the 0, otherwise your number line does not make sense. For number 5, since 0 is part of your inequality, just pick some other number to put on your number line. It does not matter if it's 5, it could be -3. Again, we're just picking a number to give it some direction. Okay, let's flip over to the next side here and talk about some of the words that go along with these inequalities. For the first one, or for these, it says write, solve, and graph. So for the first one, it says any sandwich at Subway costs no less than $5. So if I went to Subway, could I get a $5 sandwich? Yes. Could I get a $3 sandwich? According to this, no. Could I get a $6 sandwich? Yes. So what sign goes with no less than? Greater than or equal to, right? So if we just use a variable, say x, we could say x is greater than or equal to 5. For number 2, you may drive no faster than 70 on Highway 44. So no faster than. Now there's 2 numbers in this problem. Which one do we not really care about? The 44. The 44 is just the name of the highway. It has nothing to do with our inequality. So if we want to go no faster than 70, can we go 70? Yes. Can we go 80? No, not legally if we're following the rules, right? But could we go 65? Yes. So what symbol is going to go with this? Less than or equal to. So x is less than or equal to 70. Number 3. The sum of m and 14 is greater than -32. First of all, what does sum mean? The total between 2 numbers. What does that mean? What symbol? Addition, right? We're going to add, and greater than gives you your symbol right there. So we're going to have m plus 14 is greater than -32. Number 4. Let's just set all these up first. Number 4, it says 15 is less than or equal to the difference of y and 1.25. So, less than or equal to, and difference. What does difference mean? What symbol goes with difference? Subtraction. Now make sure your order is correct here. It says 15 is less than or equal to the difference of y and 1.25. So that's what you're subtracting. So it should look something like that. Questions? Okay, now the directions said to write, solve, and graph. So go ahead and solve if you need to, and graph all 4 of these. Okay, check yours with mine. And you might have put different numbers on your number line, but that's okay. On number 4, I flipped that inequality so that the y was on the left-hand side. The open part of the symbol is still towards the y, so we're still y is greater than. I put 16 and 17 on my number line just because I wanted some whole numbers. If you put 16.25, that's okay. Just know that if you plotted that on a number line that I provided for you, it would be between 16 and 17. Okay, last problem. Says you are shopping for bicycles. The type you want costs at least $185. You have saved $97. Okay, so if we look at the words at least, and actually that says as least, but it should be at least. What symbol is going to go with at least? Because could your bike cost $185? Yes. Could it cost $190? Yes. Could it cost $180? No, because it says at least $185. So what symbol? That's right. Greater than or equal to. So part A says write an inequality for the amount of money you still need to save to buy the bicycle. So let's go ahead and use X. X is what you need to save. So in order to be able to afford it, you need to save greater than or equal to, or at least, what? $185, but you've already saved $97. So if you subtract that, you get X is greater than or equal to 88. That means you have to save $88 or more, depending on how expensive your bike is. Questions on that one? Okay, so it says if you save $10 a month, what is the quickest you are able to buy a bike? Why 9 months?
Because there's 88, so you can't do it in 8 months. So
That's right, because if you divide 88 by 10, you only get you get 8.8. So if you only save for 8 months, you still don't have enough money because you only have $80. So you have to save for 9 months in order to have enough money. You'll just have a little bit left over. Questions?